I know you've been taught to be good, to be polite, to wait for your turn, but the truth is, good girls finish last. Because in order to go to that next level, in order to materialize the very things that you want, you need to be bad. But we're not talking about bad in the way that you think. Have you ever noticed that you shrink yourself so you don't feel guilty for wanting more? You don't want that judgment from family, friends, the external environment around you. Hey lovelies, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Tia.
And I'm Leah.
And we are your manifestation sisters, helping you embody the identity that makes life upgrades inevitable by becoming the wealthy woman at the center of it all.
Here on this episode, we're talking about why you need to be bad to manifest. So let's get into it.
Being good is an identity. It's a state of mind. We're talking about operating from this state of being a good girl in order to have what it is that you want. Most likely you will find yourself doing everything right, people pleasing, but still not getting what it is that you want. Following the script, the formula down to the T, but still wondering why things not working out for me. Shrinking your dreams, the vision of the things that you want, as a response, not wanting to seem out of place, unrelatable to the people around you. It comes down to asking yourself the questions of, do you shrink? Do you wait for permission? Do you find yourself holding back from the fear of being seen as too much or waiting for validation from your outside reality?
Yeah, and I think oftentimes good girl versus bad girl, it's kind of like when you're being that good girl, you're very agreeable. You're very used to people pleasing the people around you. You're not really allowing yourself to go after what it is that you want. I'll be good and then I'll get everything that I want. But a lot of the times, this being in that bad girl energy is more kind of like, no, I'm going to get what I want. You're a bit more in conviction. You're a bit more in like, I'm going to have this. And you see it in the movies. You see it with all those characters that are a bit more like bad when it comes to getting what they want, or a bit more bitchy, for example. This reminds me of like, Gossip Girl. I don't know if you've ever seen Gossip Girl, but I love Blair in that because she's just got like that bitch persona. She's just like, I don't give a shit. I'm getting what I want. I know what I want. I'm going to have this. She's not trying to be like, sometimes she's in her good girl energy, but a lot of the time she's more of like that bitchy girl, like, I'm getting what I want. This is what I'm going to have. She doesn't give a shit what anyone else is thinking or saying, like, because she knows what she wants.
Exactly. When I can relate to being in that good girl energy, it's like, and this was a lot for me because I've had to break through from that people pleasing. Most likely you guys will relate because you're watching this video of your needs become a backseat of like you question and doubt what you want because you're so susceptible to the other people's needs and other people's desires and what you think you should be doing in order to get it. But if we're realistic, that state of mind, that state of being in that good girl energy puts you in the identity of not claiming the things. It can be exhausting but not rewarding. And you keep thinking, I'll do everything right, I will wait my turn, and then eventually I'll get what I want. But there comes a time where you have to realize you're operating from the identity of not fully claiming those things. You keep putting the thing that you want outside of yourself instead of in that decisive energy of I get to have what it is that I want and I'm able to put myself first.
Putting yourself first is absolutely key. And it's that analogy, when you're on the plane and it's like put your own mask on first. And I think that's everything to do with like that kind of bad girl. And I think we should determine what bad means. We don't mean like you're a horrible person, that you treat people like shit, you're out here like being horrible to everyone. It's being bold, anchored, decisive. Bold in your decision, bold in what you get to have. I want this, it becomes a command, not a hope. No more waiting for external validation, no more waiting for proof. That boldness anchors that decision into the new timeline, into you being the version of you that is going to have what you want or has what you want. And what that kind of looks like is that you're standing in conviction of what you want. It's an internal boundary. It's like, I want this, I'm going to have this, I'm going to put myself first. I'm not going to let other people dictate to me what I'm going to have. I'm not going to let the opinions of other people keep me from getting what I want. And even Neville has the thing of like, tell no man, right? Yeah. It's like, I want this. And sometimes when we go to other people for their opinions, sometimes it puts a damper on like what we can have because other people only can give you advice based on their beliefs and based on their perceptions, right? So this is why sometimes we say tell no man, because oftentimes people don't really have the people around them to be saying like, nah, go for it, do this. And then when we talk about anchored, it's anchored in what it is you want for yourself. It's anchored in you knowing that you get to have what you want. It's living from the version of you that has what they want. You're in that identity. And then the decision, the decisiveness, it's like you're standing on business. You've made the decision. You're going to have it. That you're in the end result, right? You keep putting yourself back to that decision. You keep identifying and telling yourself you're the version of you that has whatever it is that you want. That's what we mean by we say you need to be bad enough.
When you're bold in your decision of what it is that you truly want, it makes me think of a time when we were deciding our income level, and there was that level of like wavering internally where I didn't want to fully anchor into that which I want. There was that quiet, subtle doubt.
Yeah, like who am I to
that self-doubt of who am I to have this? Can I really have this? So you teeter on the edge of fully claiming what it is that you want. And it comes down to, how do you actually make a choice without overthinking it? How do you stand boldly in that choice, in that decision? So it's not a hope, it's not a wish, it's not I think I want this, but no, I'm actually claiming this is what I want, this is what I'm going to have, and I am now moving myself into the version of myself that gets to have it. And that's how it materializes. And I think that's why when we're talking about shifting your identity and closing that gap, you have to be bold in the inner conviction of claiming what I want. And when my mind wants to waver, when the self-doubt wants to come in, I always bring myself back to that choice. I always bring myself back to that decision of who I'm claiming to be and how I'm commanding my reality. Your reality is responding to who you dominantly are. And that state of being, like we said, we spoke about in the other video of tipping that scale. So when you keep bringing yourself back to that choice and that decision, it starts to become a normalized thing. You're raising your baseline, like we always said, and you're no longer operating from that identity that's questioning herself, that's thinking she can't have it, that's trying to be relatable to others, that's fearing things, but rather you're putting your focus and your attention, you're anchoring yourself boldly, it links, into that decision, that choice that you've made for yourself. So let me ask you this question. What did you have to change in order for you to stop apologizing for your desires?
I think it comes down to no longer shrinking yourself and knowing that you're worthy for existing. And I think I would shrink myself. I'd always apologize just for existing. And I think that's what we do with our desires. We're always like, oh, like, I'm sorry for what it is that I want. And I think especially, like, I don't know if anyone else feels this, but in the UK, a lot of people like apologize. Like, you know, you go through a door and people are like, oh, sorry, like you move here and like, sorry. And it's like, I think we start to be conditioned to like,
what?
Shrink ourselves, apologize for things, apologize for having what we want, when it's really like, no, I'm worthy. I get to have what I want. I belong. Like, I get to take up space. I get to shine my light. I get to have what I want. I get to talk about the things that I love. And I'd even like shrink myself, or like, even when it comes down to like what we do with certain people in our lives and that, I wouldn't fully own like what we do.
Yeah.
Like, we teach mindset manifestation and identity transformation. Like, and if I would tell people that, sometimes I look at you like,
but what does that entail?
Yeah, because they don't know, right? But now I own it a lot more. And even like, I was with my friend the other day and she was giving a talk because she's got her own business, and she was like, oh, this is my friend Leah, she teaches mindset manifestation. And then people were like, oh, okay, like, and they were like more intrigued. Like, other people have started to like hear about it and things like that. And they might know, like, they start to hear about it, and like I was having conversations and stuff. Whereas before, like, I'd be like, be quiet, like, I'd shrink myself. I want people to fully know what we was doing. But now it's like, owning it.
Yeah.
Owning my desires, owning what I do, owning who I am, taking up space, shining my light, knowing I belong, knowing I'm worthy of existing. And I think that's one of the key things for me.
Yeah.
What about you?
That. Exactly the same. But that still sometimes comes up today, and I have to remember for myself to own it, to stand boldly. I think it's a constant reminder and choice you make with yourself. Because even with myself, I've met new people and they ask me what I do, and there's that you have that split second of like, do I downplay this, or do I actually own? I'm a mindset manifestation coach. I do identity transformation. I talk about mindset manifestation. I own my own business. I do this instead of, oh, I'm just running a little business.
Like putting it under the
you
side.
pull it to the side, you swipe it under the carpet, and you're a bit like, I'm not going to fully own it, but like, own it, stand firm in who you are, stand boldly in what you're choosing for yourself, and the doors open, the opportunities come in.
You start being.
You stand firm in it.
Being that person, rather than, I think for a long time I was
waiting.
In the becoming, in the waiting to become that version of me who felt comfortable to own her manifestations, to own who she was, to take up space. And this is what we teach. This is what we're going to dive into in our Be Her Now masterclass, the art of living from it's done. And if you're not on the wait list, get on the wait list. The link is in the subscription down below. You don't want to miss it. And this is why I stopped trying to become someone and started being it, acting from her, thinking as her, being as her, moving through my world as her. And this is the embodiment. This is being
everything
her. This is,
speak about.
you know what I mean? This is everything we talk about. A lot of things people struggle with. We're always trying to become someone rather than claiming you already are it, being it.
And it's a difference. It's a whole different state. And like you said, it's everything we're diving into, because that version of you that doesn't have it, she has a different thinking state, feeling state, perception, and therefore she's transmitting a different level of frequency. The universe responds differently. Rather than the version of you that has it, claims it, is bold, is anchored,
in
is
that bad
decisive,
girl.
in that bad girl energy. She has a different frequency. She's perceiving differently. She's open to opportunity. She's thinking differently. She's feeling differently, and therefore the 3D materializes and rearranges around her differently. You're not collapsing. You're not shrinking yourself. You're anchored in your identity of who you're choosing to be. You don't apologize for wanting the things that you want. You've made that choice, but there's no duplicity around it. You're not secretly like, I shouldn't have that. You're like, this is what I want, and this is what I'm claiming. So when you become BAD, B-A-D, bold, anchored, and decisive in who you are, you close that gap between waiting rather than deciding. You're no longer looking for proof, but you are the proof. You're no longer trying to become, you're being that version. The gap closes because you're operating from identity, not wishing, not hoping, not waiting. So be BAD, be bold, be anchored, be decisive in who you are choosing to be and what you are choosing to manifest for yourself.
Absolutely. So if you like this episode, be sure to share, comment, like, and subscribe. And if you want to be on the waitlist to Be Her Now, the art of living from it's done, the link is in the description box down below, and we'll see you in the next episode.